Ladies and gentlemen, Shilpa Shetty Kundra, Chairperson, Bestdeal TV. So we've spoken all morning about career reinventions, we've spoken about entrepreneurship, and I have to say, I think we have you here in a very different avatar. You've inspired millions of people out there with your work in Bollywood, but I think we're going to talk about things you're doing now and things you are very enterprisingly taking forward, and that's what we're going to use the next half an hour for. But let me do a little throwback first, Shilpa. I think a lot of who we are gets set when we are young. Our childhood matters, our influences sort of get sorted then. We just heard a rebellion story just before you came. Tell us a little more about your childhood, your influences, all of that.
A very, very good evening to all you Sheroes. This indeed is a wonderful opportunity for me to connect with my species. So we'll kind of understand each other so much better. Gone are the days where I would encourage the conversation of, oh, we're living in a male-dominated society. Men want to believe that. But I really think that, the society is what we make of it. And it's wonderful to see and come across women who are go-getters, who really want to, fly, who are trying out different things. And I belong to that clan or that set of women. So for me, I've always wanted to be someone who's a trendsetter and not a trend follower. And as you very rightly said, that came from my upbringing. Those thoughts were inculcated by my mother. I come from a society called the Bunt clan. We're Shettys. My husband wants to believe I'm Punjabi since I'm married to him, but I told him very clearly, born a Shetty will die a Shetty. You can't become a Shetty, you have to be born one. But we Bunts are a matriarchal society. And for us, it is more celebratory when a woman is born or when a girl is born into the family. So, girls were actually ostracized if they got married outside the community because they realized that that would be the end of their lineage. So they were not ostracized because they were upset because it's anyway such a small clan. What would happen to this community? Yeah. So we are like the Parsis from the south. Yeah, So we're kind of very, yeah, exactly. So coming from that community and that thought process where girls were rejoiced, my mom came from a family of 2 sisters and her. She was the first Bunt woman to start working. Wow. Okay, this is way back 42 years ago, 45 years ago. And it was a big thing. She was the first Bunt woman to start modeling. Wow. Yes, so she modeled for Colgate and Forehands, and she still didn't get sued. Whatever is compound. And at that time, there wasn't that much paper media and all of that. So it was in the theaters. And she was on the Eve's weekly cover. I still remember, I've seen those paper cuttings. So she was of the belief that girls cannot be curbed. There's nothing different that she did I don't think she would do anything different if she had a boy. And I have to give credit even to my father. Coming from the Bunt community, men can be very conservative. But he always encouraged both Shamita and me. He never made us believe that things were not achievable. Yes, only when it came to deadlines we became girls. But in terms of achievements, I don't think they ever curbed us from doing anything. So there was a time we were in the midst of doing so many activities. I was doing basketball, volleyball, doing dancing, doing cookery classes, the work. So we'd come home and we'd be dead to the world. And saying that, I want you to know that both my parents were working at the time while we were growing up. They were like cats on a hot tin roof. We only saw them on Saturdays and Sundays. And we've turned out great. So I really believe that when you are working and you're bringing up your children, it's very important to make your child understand the value of work, to understand that there is hard work being put in, because then they grow up to value you for what you are doing for them. So I didn't have helicopter parenting. And I think I've grown up to be the kind of person I am because my parents let us be, let us grow, let us learn from our mistakes. And I have to credit both my parents for that. So my parents were really forward in the way they thought, what they believed. I was the first bunt girl to join the film industry. So I remember walking into, and it was a very big thing. 22 years ago, it was a big thing. So I remember entering this bunt wedding where most girls would go to find a husband. But I had just started shooting for Bazigar. The film wasn't released. And my parents very proudly walked in with me, and there were a lot of whispers that that weren't whispers anymore because I could actually hear them. And they were like, oh, she's joined the film industry, and oh, look at this, and oh, look at that, and how could her parents allow her, whatever. But my parents, were undeterred. And the same bunt community, a few years later, felicitated me. So I don't regret any of my decisions, but without the encouragement of my parents and those values that they, kind of pieced and put into our heads, we've kind of grown up to value what we have, what we want to become, and we have work ethics. So that, I think I've covered everything. I can leave now.
We're just about getting started.
Yeah, okay.
So I think what I hear is a lot of tradition of hard work, almost be your own boss. I think. I have a personal confession to make. I am very ignorant about Bollywood. I don't watch movies. I don't have a TV.
I don't blame you.
But I think when we got associated, and when we started following this whole story, and more I learned, the more intrigued I became, because actually you're really what we stand for: reinventions and staying relevant and staying on top of your game and being really good at. Your book has reached what, Amazon #1 yesterday?
Nielsen book scan #1. Yeah, it's a national bestseller.
Yeah.
I'm very happy. Thank you.
So
please buy it. Book sales are always good.
Yeah. So let me sort of quickly put the reinventions on the table. You're on a spa, right?
17.
17 of them. My mom calls me now every morning, since she's learned about this thing, that, hey, please watch Tata Sky 7:30. Shilpa Shetty is teaching yoga. Right? So that, you've got a book, and of course you've got a whole family to take care of, and that goes in your Twitter bio, I noticed. And there's the whole Bollywood, which is going to mob you wherever you go. And now there is this whole forefront TV commerce story, cooking with Bestdeal. Tell us more. I mean, of course, we want to hear about all of them, but tell us about Bestdeal. I'm very intrigued because you're marrying the mediums, you're doing it differently, you're doing the same thing very differently.
Thank you, I take that as a huge compliment. I know when people sit down to list the number of things I'm doing, it's kind of overwhelming even for me to hear all about it, because I don't know how I've managed to do so many things. It was never contrived. Things just kept happening. It was the right time. So I decided to take it up or maybe leverage my name to it. But I still very clearly maintain that I am a full-time mother, and all the rest that I do is all part-time. I think I'm fortunate to be able to delegate those jobs. I have a very expensive CEO at Bestdeal TV, my husband Raj Kundra, who I have to pay in kind because he's unaffordable otherwise. But yes, I just think businesses like even my spas, we've started the franchise model, and IOSIS is all over India. We've got 2 in Guwahati, 2 in Lucknow, Pune, Calcutta. I have 4 in Mumbai. But I have a great business partner, Kiran, who helps me run it. The only job I can't delegate to other people is the job of a mother. So that I have to be there personally. Even today, from the time Vian's been born, I used to pick him and drop him to school. Now Raj has started dropping him to school because it's on his way. But I enjoy doing that. For me, all the rest is just incidental. And I feel very fortunate to have my hero who supports me and who has made me a Shiro. So I can't take complete credit.
Wow, that's quite humble of you. Going further into Bestdeal TV, I think our missions align because one thing we say is we want to put 10 lakh women into opportunities at the end of 3 years, and all those opportunities won't come from the nature of jobs as we know them. And of course, you've built a model which is absolutely aligned to what I call the Desi Mahila out there. They're, I think, educated but not on the ladder, not on the circuit. And you've tell us more about the model and the thought that went behind building it, because building this model is hard. I mean, I run this, so I know.
So the thought of Bestdeal TV actually was, it just happened. I really believe, sometimes in life you're just put in a place because you have to, maybe you have to play a catalyst in doing something bigger. So it happened via another home shopping channel where they approached me to leverage my name. As an artist, we get to do a lot of things. We do ads, we leverage our names for different brands. It's another story. I've become a brand myself now. So I said, so Raj very intelligently said to me, you do it for other people, why don't you do it for yourself? So he came up with the idea when they had proposed to me that I should be selling saris on their channel. I said, why don't we make it SSK saris? So in the normal course, they would sell around 1,000 saris in a matter of they have these 1 hour slots where they sell these saris, designer saris. So I said, okay, I'll call them SSK and I'll design a range of 3 saris and let's just test the waters. So we just did some 5,000 saris only for us, 3,000 saris just to start it. And I shot for it and we went on the channel and they started it, they aired it and they sold 5,500 saris in 20 minutes. Yeah, so that's where the thought came to Raj and me, where we were like, this is amazing. And I have to again give credit to Raj because to be able to set up a business in 4 months, he set up Bestdeal TV in 4 months, which is breakneck speed. So, and he's not somebody who just, delegates the jobs to people. He's somebody who's hands-on. I've seen him put in 18, 20 hours work. He doesn't need to do it, but he's very diligent. So I trust his acumen. And that's how Bestdeal was set up. We understood that in a country like India, there's 75% of penetration when it comes to TV commerce in comparison to just 25% when it's e-commerce. And you would think it would be the other way around. So there are a lot of people like us who would go to maybe a website and order something because it's cumbersome nowadays to go into the traffic and go and get your child a Christmas present, for example. Here you go on, the thing, Flipkart or whatever, ABC, conflict of interest. And okay, I'm buying something for my son, let me buy something for my mother-in-law. Let me buy something. So you basically do everybody's Christmas presents. But there's such a dichotomy. There are more masses than classes. I would want to believe that we are more the classes, okay? But there are the masses which makes up like 75% of our audiences and customer base. So those people can't even afford to, or maybe don't even have the understanding of these e-commerce sites. So somebody in Bilaspur wants to buy something for her son for his birthday. She's flipping channels after sending her child to school and packing food for her husband. She has nothing to do in the afternoon. She sees Bestdeal TV. Okay. So yeah, and we at Bestdeal TV have tried to carve a niche for ourselves in the market. We're trying to reach out to customers with quality-oriented products, and with a good price point. So that's where we've tried to, create a niche for ourselves in the home shopping business. So the idea was his. And then the whole idea of the direct selling agent, the DSA came up with purely the idea of people like me. If I had my way, I would be at home 24/7. Because I really think being a homemaker is the biggest job in the world. It's truly heroic. There are women out there who dedicate 24/7 of their lives to their family, and it's a thankless job. They are not getting paid for it, and they do it with a smile on their face. And for me, I salute those women. So if I had my way, because for me, it's easy for me to say that. It's easy, I can afford to do that. But there are a lot of women out there who can't. If they had a choice, they would want to be there to pick up their son from school, make sure they're there in time, to cook food for their husband when he gets back from work, cater and pander to his demands, the in-laws' demands, and be deadbeat by the end of the night, and still wake up at 6:30 in the morning again to prepare his lunch for his dabba, and drop the child to school, go and do all the errands. There are women like that who do this every day. So this is, and what if she's sitting and watching television and she can actually earn a few extra bucks by just becoming a direct selling agent for the channel? There is no fulfillment. Everything is done by us. She only has to go and sell the product. Maybe she's gone to the market and she said, अरे ये देखा ये नया कुछ निकला है Bestdeal TV पे, ये बहुत अच्छे प्राइस पे मिल रहा है. एक 60 पीस स्टेनलेस स्टील का सेट है, दिवाली के लिए दे सकते हैं आप, या किसी की शादी पे जा रहे हैं, you can gift it. So that's how the word of mouth spread. So that was really the idea. I think it comes from a place that I came from. I am very middle class. I was born and bred in Chembur. Both my parents worked. My father missed. He would walk from a train station to his factory in Ambernath so that he could give us a holiday in Matheran. So those values are very, very strongly ingrained in me. And I value those holidays. I value those times. Today Vian goes to a toy shop, and every time he goes to a toy shop, he wants a toy. So I'm very clear with Raj that, and even Raj comes from that learning. His father started off as a bus conductor in London. So we come from that school of thought. So he tells me his was even worse than me, where his mother had left him. His mother was also working, and she was working in a cotton factory, and he was barely a 6-month baby, and they had left. They didn't have any help, so they had left him with just the bottle in his hand in the car with the window open, and worked for 4 hours and again come and seen him in the break. So we've both been through our times of struggle, and we've seen that, and we know that it is so hard for people out there. It's very easy. I mean, when people look at us, they think, oh, we're high flying and we're enjoying. We're not apologetic about enjoying a good life, because we've worked so damn hard for it that it's high time we enjoyed it. But we still value it. So for Vian, we've tried to ingrain it right from now. That, that day he asked me for a toy, and I was like, sorry, Mama doesn't have any money. Mama has to go out and work. So it's very important to do that. So all those mothers out there who can earn that extra pocket money, I would call it, can do it via this plan. Sorry, I got very digressed, but whatever.
Wonderful. So I think one of the things we've learned while building Sheroes is there are different strokes for different folks. To somebody, $10,000 a month can really mean a lot. And to somebody, 5 lakhs bucks a month will also be like, I'm not well paid. So I guess we are diverse and we are hungry and broken, and very complex. I have a question which is something that I personally sort of care about a lot, which is working with a family. I know it cannot be easy because you're so close at home, you know everything about the person, and then you've got these roles panned out, and Raj smiling as I ask this. What does it take? What does it take out of you?
I just think that, you have to prioritize. In life, whatever you do, you have to just see what's important for you. And I'm someone, if I'm here, I'm giving it my 100%. If I'm at home, I'm giving my child 100%. At dinner, there are no phones. We have dinner by 7:30. So there's sometimes Raj can't even make it for those dinners. But Vian and I sit, we have our dinner. And so I just think you have to prioritize. When you're at work, it's work. When I'm a professional shooting for someone who's paying me so much money, it's my job to do that job to the best of my ability. So you cannot have double standards, because then those double standards will then come back and bite you in the ass, because then you're going to hire somebody and if that person's not going to, give it his best or her best. So I really think that life is a whole cycle, and you have to figure out what is important in your life. And when I'm on my holidays, yes, I am contactable, but preferably not. And I will go through my emails only if it's really urgent. I will answer back. I just wait for my summer break, because that's family time. I wait for our winter break, which we're just leaving for now. And otherwise, we're working parents, and this is what we're meant to do. I still feel that, it's way easier for us. There are a lot of people out there who are doing it, putting their children in creches and trying to make ends meet, only to have a better life for their child, put their children into better schools, because the fees are so high nowadays. It's crazy. I've just found out. I had no idea. My parents, lucky for my parents that I got educated free of cost. Just put me into a girls' convent, huh? No, convent school, but at that time, after the 5th standard, it was free education for the girl child. So, yeah, but today, we parents are so anal about which school our child is going into, and IB hona chahiye, and international school hona chahiye, or Cambridge way of learning hona chahiye. My parents are like, kaun sa school ghar ke paas hai, udhar dalo.
Absolutely. I read this joke yesterday on Facebook which said the best contraceptive today is actually school fees.
True.
Okay. So obviously, with this range going on, and it's a forever on life. Even when you're on a holiday, something's going on, right? It's action-packed, as packed as it gets. So it's not only a juggle, and I'm sure a lot of us struggle with it, including the guilt and the energy levels. And I love the fact that you're a fitness freak, and you've done both on nutrition and exercise. Tell us more, what you started, when did it start, and where now, and what would you sort of do with it?
Honestly, this might sound really funny, but the only thing I think I contrived in my life to do was to be a catalyst in making or trying to make people slightly aware of their health. So maybe in a small way, whether it be with my friends, family, then I decided to do it via IOSIS, my venture, the wellness spa, where we have a dietitian. It's a slimming program. Because every woman needs a bit of guidance, you know. Not everybody is knowledgeable and, you know, can go on to Google. I feel nowadays Google is also a little dangerous because some 2 crore sites open up every time you type in something. So you get so, you know, scared and flustered, you don't know what to do. I have just had one vision of Wellness India. And slowly, steadily, I tried to do it. And I don't know, I had no idea that I was going to write a book. I didn't even think I was going to be able to do that. It just happened, like I said before, and I reiterate, some things you cannot plan. So I met Luke, who was my child's nutritionist, who again came into my life just by chance. And I realized, you know, he treats patients primarily who are suffering with cancer and rehabilitating them with Indian food, going abroad and doing that. So basically, when the West does it, using curcumin, which is an extract from turmeric, and ghee, using coconut oil. So things like that really interested me, and those are things I have lived by. Like, I have a tablespoon of ghee in my rice. For me, it's dal, chawal, anywhere, whether it's London, whether it's here, whether it's the US, I will first hunt an Indian restaurant because I need my bit of food and my spice. And there were a lot of preconceived notions with food, Indian food. So, you know, the staple dish, or the dish that is the most famous in the UK, is the chicken tikka masala. Can you believe it? और यहाँ पे आओ, अरे नहीं, Indian food बहुत fattening है, Chinese चलते हैं. So, I mean, it's cool. There's nothing wrong with it. Then I always say this, you know, Madonna having clarified butter, which is ghee, on gluten-free toast is very cool. But ghee to bahut fattening hai. So I'm like, why do we Indians not value what we have? So the thought came from there, and then Luke and I sat together, and he was talking about this whole concept of Indian food, and I was like, you know, we should write about it. You should write about it. He's like, yeah, I'll write about it. But then I was like, how do we reach out to more people? So then that's when I came in. And I was like, the intention was only to make people aware that it is so easy to lose weight, because the whole world is weight obsessed. We are not health obsessed, unfortunately. I wish it was the other way around. So when people compliment me for my body, I have just got, the body is just secondary. I'm actually looking after my health. So I'm maintaining myself. I really think, you know, people start losing weight when they have to attend a wedding, or they want to fit into a pair of jeans. New Year. अच्छा, New Year थोड़ा सा खा लेते हैं, उसके बाद my New Year resolution for 2 months. And then they'll be standing on that weighing scale 20 times a day to see if they've lost 500 grams. And then after going on that weighing machine for 4 days in a row, after walking for 1 kilometer and maybe having a pizza, they'll say, oh, I'm not losing weight. So I'm like, you can't do it without a bit of discipline. So in life, to achieve anything, so I could have written a book on anything. But I think the message I wanted to convey to people is that you have to have a lifestyle modification. And it is so easy to do. So you don't have to buy expensive asparagus and quinoa. You can do it with rajma chawal. And I said that even in my interviews, on shows. So I keep repeating this line so that somewhere it's like, you know, gets beaten into people's brains that you can do it with rajma chawal. A friend of mine suffered with cancer, 3rd stage of cancer, when I was in the Big Brother house, and I've written about it in my book. Dirk Benedict. He was an actor from the A-Team. And every day he only had one demand from Big Brother. He said, please give me red lentils, rajma basically, and brown rice. So all the rest of the house, I would be cooking for them like a servant. This man would cook only rice and lentils. And after the first week, I looked at him, I was like, how can you eat this food? I mean, don't you want to eat something else? He was like, you know, I suffered with cancer. I had prostate cancer. And I cured myself with just this. He said, so for me, my life is so precious that I would rather give up on the, you know, the treats and value my health. So that's the power that Indian food or legumes have. And we have kind of exchanged it with olive oil, running after quinoa, eating pasta, avocado. Yeah. What's wrong with dudi? Broccoli, which is great, I mean, you know, but it's so expensive. Why? You can do it, there's an easier way to do it. Eat what is local. Eat local because it doesn't take so much time. By the time it reaches you, I don't know how much stuff they put into it to preserve it. So you're basically going to die anyways.
So you might as well,
Yeah.
might as well eat what's available here. Super.
She wants me to leave now.
I'm going to come to yoga, which is
okay.
my favorite part of the whole story. Where did you get started? I mean, did you learn young?
No, I started doing yoga, I think 12 years ago. No, maybe, sorry, it was 15 years ago. And it started off to try to cure myself because I ended up with spondylosis. And I was in the gym and I was watching television and I was trying to do crunches. And suddenly I put my head down and there went a kidik. And I couldn't get up. They actually had to lift me up and take me out because I injured my C4, C5 in my spine. And that taught me a lesson never to do crunches and, you know, watch television. You're supposed to look up. So yoga basically came into my life to cure me. And I fell in love with it. And it's the only workout regimen in the world that is the most holistic, that stretches you, tones you, actually calms you, and you can do it on your own without any weights. So again, it's inexpensive. So I did it only because I valued my health. And through that, again, you know, see, when I got associated with yoga, even Baba Ramdev also wasn't on the scene. So, and then when Baba Ramdev got associated to it, with due respect to him, I think he really introduced yoga back again to India. So I just felt that, you know, this man was doing such a wonderful job. My parents were doing it, but no, my sister doesn't want to do it. Because it's not cool to do yoga, you know. Now it is. Now there are a lot of yoga studios and Pilates and whatever. But 15 years ago, it wasn't that cool. So then Raj, again, the hero in my life, he was like, Acha, you know, you should do this yoga. I was like, you know, really, I really wish we could do a yoga DVD. And this is like, I'm talking about 8 years ago. So I was one of the first, again, to do a yoga DVD. I don't know why I do these crazy things. So I did it, and it's selling even today. It's again one of the top selling yoga DVDs in the country. And I did it only with the intent of wanting to reintroduce yoga back again and to let people know again. See, everybody can't afford a yoga instructor. And people are doing 9-to-5 jobs. You want to do it at home, in the confines of your home. You should be able to do it also. No? There are a lot of fitness DVDs in the market where they're just instructing and there's no time in between to do the even to lift the weight. Oh, this is how I do it, and this is what you're supposed to do. And there was a lot of stuff in the market, but there was nothing that guides a person, giving the person enough time to do it with you. Because, you know, not everybody is a yoga exponent. So then we did it with that aspect in mind. And I think the biggest compliment that I have got in my life is I was at the airport and there was this lady who wasn't who was healthy, but she must have been really obese. She came up to me and she shook my hand and she said, I can't tell you the difference or how my life has changed. I've lost 10 kilos with your yoga DVD. So for me, that was the biggest compliment ever. No award, no nothing that I've done in my life could have given me that kind of compliment. So if it's made a slight difference in somebody's life, I feel, I've done my bit.
What are you going to make famous next?
No way.
Okay.
Well, I intend on taking Bestdeal TV forward because I really think it's a great venture. And and we've just started Vian Mobiles on the name of our son. So yeah, that is my dearest venture right now. So yeah, let's hope that goes well.
Yeah. Tell us a little more about the response on Bestdeal. 4 months in putting this together. Obviously, you guys are moving very fast. In terms of how you're executing it, it's fairly slick from what we've learned. Tell us more. I mean, what have you learned? Any anecdotes? Anything you can share?
What have I learned? That it's a really expensive business. Should have thought about it before at length. But I think life is a learning curve. Every business is a learning curve. You know when you get into it, when you're thrown into it, that you could do it better. So, but saying that also, I must say that we've been on for what, 6 months now? 6 months to be valued at nearly 300 crores. Somebody just, bought into Bestdeal TV at that valuation. So to be able to make a company from scratch and to give it that kind of valuation with a big company like a PwC on board, it is a huge compliment. So there's still a very long way to go. I just think that it's a market that's booming. So e-commerce, I don't know how these numbers are even justified when they're actually loss-making. It's just about acquiring customer base. But here we're actually making profit. So I would think that we will make some money in some time.
Super. And no VC money, right? No external funding. Absolutely. Wonderful. So I think I just want to sort of bring you up to what we've been up to all morning. We've sort of pretty much brought a lot of business leaders in the room today, and we got talking about trends. We obviously spoke about a lot of opportunities and career reinventions. We had some brilliant stories. Having known us as a community for a little bit now, and we hope to sort of do more with you in future. Something about us, something for the SHEROES community, Shilpa?
I don't know, man. There's too much pressure. I just think, you should go with your heart. I'm sure I've earned a lot of money in my life, but that never really has driven me. I know many of you wouldn't believe it, but for me, commanding a certain price or being able to big my bank account, those are all just numbers. For me, what gives me a high is respect. And that is something that comes with a lot of hard work. So for me, to be able to be trusted by people is a very big compliment. And so whatever you choose to do in life, you have to think about your reputation. It's a very big onus. It's not easy for, Shilpa Shetty Kundra has started something new today. But there's a lot of responsibility with that name. So we think 100 times. I think 100 times when I'm doing something, because there are people who are going to buy it because I've put my name to it. So that is a big responsibility. So for all those women out there who are going to or planning to start something new, you have to build on it before you make it big. And you only go to make it big when you're completely sure about the base of it. So please take the right advice. You know, if you have, the acumen, well and good. But otherwise, it's very important to have the right kind of financial backing, to make sure that you have the sensibilities to be able to carry that forward. Also, don't think of it as just a short-term business plan. Think about ROI. My husband always says, think about ROI. Those are very, very key words. But at the end of it all, I really believe that there's nothing in the world you cannot achieve with hard work and discipline. There's nothing. And I am truly a standing example of that. I came from, And I really believe, this sounds a little philosophical, but if you really have what it takes, and I'm not saying if you want to be the Prime Minister of the country tomorrow, you stand and you think about it and it will happen. No, please. So think sensibly and logically. And if you really have it in you, and if you are talented enough to be able to start that new venture, just have that single-minded, goal-oriented approach. Think about it. It will manifest. And trust me, that will happen. Many of us lose focus. That's when you start to kind of, get scattered. But I really believe in the secret of manifestation and visualization. Visual manifestation, they call it. So you do that and work hard. There's nothing in life that you can't achieve.
Thank you so much. Absolutely golden words to end the conversation. Very delighted to have you here, Shilpa. Thank you so much again. And we hope to see you soon. We hope Bestdeal goes places and millions of women find a way to their dreams. Thank you so much.
And I want to thank SHEROES for inviting me here today and all the people behind it. I think you've done a fantastic, fantastic job. And I just want to say that, we've said it out there as well. I just want to repeat it here. Heroes are really passé, not you, Cookie. You'll always be in. You're my hero forever. But other than him, heroes are passé. Now it's time for SHEROES.
I said it was so nice for a change to have a lady say, oh yes, there is a contribution of my husband too in mine. So it was amazing to hear that for a change. And thank you for coming home every day 7:30 a.m. to make me do yoga. I'm so privileged, And how is it that, it was amazing hearing, it was amazing, the way you built from, and I can identify absolutely from where you've come because a lot of us have come from that humble background. I just wanted to know how could these SHEROES associate with brand SSR?
How could they associate with me?
Yes. If there is a
well,
idea,
there's an opportunity.
If there is a new idea for a startup or,
Well, I just think that's why I started the DCA venture, which is the direct channel agent for Bestdeal TV. So you can actually sit at home and make money at a very, very small fee. And you actually cover it in the first month if you're a really good selling agent. Because the products are very easy to sell and for women like us to buy. Because at the end of it all, every woman is a shopaholic. We don't like to admit it. But no, thank you so much for your compliments. And I don't know, I hope it made any sense. Like I said, I've just gone with my heart, and I would just encourage every woman to go with their heart and do what you have to do with respect. Don't let anybody take you for granted. I think that, again, is a very important thing to learn as a woman. There are a lot of women who do a lot of stuff. A friend of mine once said to me, don't bend your back so much that you will end up breaking it. So only bend backwards to an extent. So beyond that, I really think you have to prioritize. And I think we women have that advantage because we are able to multitask. We are conditioned from a very young age to multitask. Okay, you have to grow up, you have to look after your family, you have to cook, you have to leave your child, you have to, I'm talking about middle class families. So we are meant to multitask. So it's not difficult for us. That's that. What is that? See, I'm so bad with money. I'm very bad with money. I was actually telling you all. So I know I've earned money, but I didn't even know how much money I had earned till 2 years ago, till I've asked my father, because he wanted to give, he wanted me to take over all that I had made, because everything used to be handled by my dad. So when I opened it, that's when I got a heart attack. I said, oh my God, really? So for me, money doesn't drive me. So what is it? Vulture capitalist, whatever. वो chit funds. फिर? See, I'm not interested. See, my heart is not in it. I won't do it. Yeah. I am just the shiro. He's the hero.
Yes, ma'am.
Shilpa, I think when you quoted your parents and when you quoted about Raj's parents, about the struggle that they have been through, you being on a platform like this and at the stature that you are, I think it's very, very inspiring. You have touched lives today. Because it's not easy talking, something about their struggle. And I think they are the real heroes. Raj is your hero. But according to me, your parents and his parents are the true heroes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Yes.
I really couldn't, yeah.
Beautifully said.
So we are actually seeing the good life because of them.
And I'm actually happy to know that that's the upbringing which you're giving to your kid. And I would like to just share one thing.
Please.
Her child comes to the garden which is next to our bungalow because that's where most of the celeb kids come. And her child is the only child who comes without security.
Super.
Aishwarya's child comes, but they come with a whole lot of security guards which have been asked to stay out of the garden because of reasons, with their small kids. So hats off to the way you're bringing up your child. And kudos to you as a mom.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you.
You have offices, you must be having offices where you women are working, right?
Yes.
Lot of big giants also. They are not very women work friendly. I have been working in corporate world for last 10 to 11 years, full time. I'm a mother of a 6-year-old. And sometimes I really want to quit and start off my own. Because I don't have flexi hours.
Yes.
I always feel, is there someone who can teach the big corporates that women are efficient in multitasking and they can do it from home also? Why don't you give the flexi hours? So what about your organization? Do they have flexi hours for working mothers? Do they have creches for working mothers who have very young children who they can put in the creche in the same office, they can work, they can go and look after their children also? Because I've seen in a lot of companies in the UK and US, they have the big giants. I'm talking about, I work with one of the companies, Stevia. It's a very huge UK-based MNC and they have creches. But not most of the Indian companies they don't have. So I would like to know, because you have gone through all of these, you are a mother. So do you have those kind of facility in your own organization?
Not yet, unfortunately, but it's a very, very good thought. And it's people who... Hello? Yeah. So it's really people like you that help me ideate, and that will definitely be a step in the right direction. We've just started out. This is a very new business. So at this point, obviously, we can't afford, but even as you say that, we do have a lot of women working in the office. For example, somebody who works for me, my EA, she has an 8-year-old and she's got flexible hours of working because I understand that. She works for me. But, and there are times where, and she's a single parent, so it's even more difficult. So I empathize with all those women who go out there and who are earning a better livelihood for their children. But yes, I would love to actually start a creche in our office setup, Raj. We must think about this. This is a very good idea. Now he's going to kill me. तुझे तुम जब भी बोलती हो खर्चा बढ़ाती हो सिर्फ.
Every husband's dialogue is that.
That's every husband's dialogue. No, but it definitely is something that we will think of. As you grow bigger, definitely you have to start thinking about your stuff.
We would love to hear about that when it comes to your organization.
Sure, thank you.
Yeah, I remember Raj tweeting about that. You're 45% women in your team. Yeah, so that's a very good start. And of course, if you need any help in putting that crash together, putting your policies together, holler out. We're right here. Brilliant. Any more questions?
Yes?
Yes, ma'am. Please, yeah, she's getting you one.
Thanks. It's nice to have you here. Just wanted to know what you feel, where would you place mental health in the bigger picture? Because I'm a health psychologist, so I would be interested in understanding what you think about how much importance mental health should get and does get, maybe in the workplace or the homes or families.
It's a very open-ended question, but I'll try to answer it. Mental health, I really think that everything that we achieve in our life is definitely attributed to that. And even if it means, when I even talk about health, even weight loss, so it's everything is stress related. So if there are high stress levels, the level of cortisol is higher, it slows down your metabolism, it's not going to help you lose weight. So I think mental health is really key, even in terms of being happy at home or even your workplace. If you're not happy mentally, you're not going to give it your best shot at the workplace. And if you're not happy at your workspace, you're not going to be happy at home, and vice versa. So I really think that that's where I think yoga also comes into play. And I have always prescribed and preached because I practice it. So, in our life that is so erratic, there's barely any time. Sometimes I don't get the time to do my entire yoga practice, which takes like 45 minutes to an hour. So you will not believe it, in the last 3 weeks I've been so busy, I've barely had any time to even go out in the balcony and breathe properly. But I take out that time. So it's important to take out that time to, that 10 minutes in a day, once in 2 days, just concentrate on your breathing. Align your chakras, align your body with your mind. Because we're all so disconnected. People are traveling by trains, they're falling off, they're being pushed. I mean, it's really scary. I hate reading the papers nowadays. Because everything is about making it and reaching a certain place and, earning money and reaching a certain position. Everything is about goals, aspirations, no talk of peace. It's not a simple world anymore. And it's quite scary. And I feel I'm going to be called Sadhu or Saint Shilpa one day, because I'm, as much as I'm doing in the business world or writing a book or whatever, I just really think there are times where I just take a back seat. I enjoy just going down to the garden, just walking. And I go onto the beach. Luckily, I live on the beach. So I just opened my door. I'm stared at by a lot of people, but I just want to just stand on the sand, be connected to the earth. We've forgotten these simple things. We really have. So I really, would prod people to come together and, and preach that they have to be connected to the world, to the earth, to themselves. It's so important. All the achievements will just happen automatically after that. How many times I told my husband, he works so hard. I'm like, just let's stand in the balcony. He thinks I'm cracked. Yeah. He's like, I said, let's just walk on the grass. He said, tum pagal ho gayi ho. But then, we'll be sitting down there and then we're just doing nothing. And then we look up at the sky. I said, where do we have, where we don't have that time to be connected to the earth with the universe, the sky above us, and just look up and just thank the Lord for this. We don't do it. How many of y'all have done this last? You have? Y'all are all achievers.
Yay.
That's why y'all have achieved, because y'all are connected. the people who are not will always be disconnected. You know? So I really think it's a wonderful thing if you guys do it. That's why you all are sheroes.
Super. I think we can sit and chat till about 8 o'clock or 12 o'clock if allowed. But I think we're completely out of time, and I'm going to call it a wraps, unfortunately breaking some of your hearts. But thank you all of you, and thank you, Shilpa. This has been phenomenal.
Thank you. Thank you.